Okay, so you know how sometimes it feels like you're just on this like crazy treadmill and you can't get off?
Uh,
And it feels like you're chasing after everything, but not actually getting anywhere.
yeah. Yeah.
That's what we're diving deep into today.
Oh, cool.
We're looking at this blog post by Kenton Patterson. It's called Emotional Well-Being, Your Key to a Fulfilling Life.
Okay.
It's on the Future Tech Wise blog.
Mm-hmm.
And basically it's all about how to like build up your emotional strength so you can deal with all the crazy stuff that's going on
Right.
and actually like find some peace and meaning in your life, even when things are like super hectic.
Makes sense.
And lucky for us, we've got our expert here to like help us connect all the dots and stuff.
Well, I was really struck by the way this post talks about emotional well-being.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like just being happy all the time.
Right.
It's more like being smart about your emotions.
You're not saying we should just like slap on a fake smile
No,
and pretend everything's perfect.
not at all.
Okay, so then what do you mean by being smart about your emotions?
It's like, understanding all the different emotions we have as humans
Uh-huh.
and then figuring out how to navigate them in a healthy way.
So it's like having a map for your feelings.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Good.
So, like, what are some of the landmarks on this map?
Well, the blog post talks about these 5 key components of emotional well-being.
Okay, let's hear them.
So first up, we have emotional regulation.
Okay, emotional regulation.
And I think a good example of this is like, you're stuck in traffic.
Of the worst.
You're already late for a super important meeting.
Yeah.
Do you just like let the frustration take over?
Totally.
Or do you try to take a deep breath, put on some calming music, and just accept that, you're going to be late?
That's a good point. It's like choosing a different road when you hit a detour
Exactly.
instead of just like slamming on the brakes and screaming.
Right.
Okay, so that's emotional regulation. What about resilience?
Oh, resilience is so important these days.
It really is.
The blog post mentions all these studies that show people who have higher emotional well-being are way better at bouncing back from setbacks.
Like if they get knocked down, they get right back up.
Exactly. And they learn from their mistakes.
And they don't just give up.
Right. They actually see challenges as opportunities for growth.
Wow, that's a really positive way to look at things.
It is.
Okay, so we've got emotional regulation, resilience. What's next?
So another key component is having a positive outlook.
Isn't that a bit like fake, though?
What do you mean?
Like, can we really just choose to be positive all the time?
Well, it's not about denying negative emotion.
Okay.
It's more about like actively trying to see the good in things,
Okay.
like appreciating a beautiful sunset
I do love those.
or finding something funny in a tough situation.
Right, right.
The post talks about how practicing gratitude can really change your perspective over time.
That makes sense. Like you're training your brain to focus on the positive stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even when there's a lot of chaos around you.
And speaking of support, I think it's really important to talk about the role of relationships in all of this.
Oh, absolutely. We're not meant to go through life alone.
Definitely not.
The post really emphasizes how important it is to feel connected to other people,
Right.
to have people you can lean on and who can lean on you.
Yeah. It's like that saying, no man is an island.
Exactly. We're wired for connection.
And the last component is self-awareness.
Yeah.
Which seems especially hard in today's world.
Why do you say that?
Well, with all the distractions and everything,
Yeah.
it's like we're constantly being pulled in a million different directions.
Yeah, I get that.
So how can we even find time to be self-aware?
Well, it's about making that time.
Okay.
It's about understanding your own strengths and weaknesses, what triggers you, what your values are.
Right.
The post even says that self-awareness can help you make better decisions and be more creative
Really?
because you're operating from a place of authenticity.
So it's like having an inner compass to
Exactly.
guide you through life.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about what emotional well-being is.
Right.
But like, why is it so important?
That's a great question.
What are some of the benefits?
Well, the blog post mentioned some pretty interesting research.
Oh, like what?
For example, studies have shown that people with higher emotional well-being tend to be physically healthier too.
That's interesting.
They have lower blood pressure and a stronger immune system.
Yeah.
And they even tend to have more fulfilling careers.
So it's not just about feeling good.
No.
It's about living a better life overall.
Exactly.
I'm starting to get it now.
And of course, we can't forget about the impact on our mental health.
True.
The post talks about how emotional well-being is linked to lower levels of anxiety and depression.
That's huge. So basically, taking care of our emotions can help us live healthier, happier lives.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm sold.
Hmm.
But how do we actually put all this into practice?
Well, the good news is that even small changes can make a big difference.
Okay.
The post suggests a few actionable steps.
Like what?
One of the big ones is mindfulness.
Okay. You don't have to, like, meditate for hours a day.
Right.
Even just taking a few minutes to focus on your breath throughout the day can really help.
I've heard about that.
It helps you become more present and aware of your emotions.
I've actually been trying mindful walking lately.
How cool.
I just pay attention to the feeling of my feet on the ground, the sounds around me.
That's great.
It's really grounding.
The post also talks about the importance of regular exercise.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever tried HIIT workouts?
I'm more of a yoga person,
That's great too.
but I definitely feel better after I move my body.
Absolutely.
It's like a mood booster.
And another really important factor is sleep.
Ugh, I know I need more sleep.
The post suggests aiming for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep every night.
Oh,
And creating a calming bedtime routine can really help with that.
so less screen time, more reading,
Exactly.
maybe a relaxing bath.
Perfect.
And what about our social lives?
Well, the post suggests making time for loved ones.
Even if we're busy. Even if you're busy. Even just a quick phone call can make a difference.
Right?
And remember, it's about quality time, not just quantity.
Okay.
Like really listening, being present, offering support.
Those are the things that really strengthen relationships.
Absolutely.
And I think it's also important to mention that it's okay to ask for help
Definitely.
if you're struggling with your emotional well-being.
There's no shame in seeking professional support
Therapists can give you really helpful tools and guidance.
for navigating those tougher emotional challenges.
Exactly. So, listener, as we wrap up our deep dive into emotional well-being,
Mm-hmm.
the key takeaway here is that it's a journey, not a destination.
Right.
It's about actively building those skills we talked about,
Yeah.
like resilience and nurturing those connections.
And remembering to be self-aware.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, as you think about everything we discussed today,
Uh-huh.
what's one small step that resonates with you?
What's something you can do to start your own journey toward greater emotional well-being?
Maybe it's starting a gratitude journal or reaching out to a friend.
Or even just taking 5 minutes to breathe deeply and check in with yourself.
You have the power to create a more fulfilling life.
And it all starts with taking care of your emotional health.
That's right. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Of course.
Until next time.